Understanding you were created with purpose is one of the few importances to loving yourself. I mean, you were created with extreme detail and with extreme purpose. In fact, there is so much detail involved in how you and I were created that there's no way that it was an accident, but it was all intentional and designed. I'm talking about your hair, to your race, to your ethnicity, to your gender, to everything in between those factors and more, proves that you were created with such great detail and purpose. There's no way that your life, what you were created to do, your purpose, all of those things was an accident. It wasn't. It was filled with intent and purpose. Your parents may have been shocked when the pregnancy test came back positive, but God wasn't shocked at all because he knew what he was doing with you, because he designed you for such a time as this, in such a lifetime as this, to be born in the way that you were born and the identity you were given at birth. When it comes to wrestling with understanding the aspect of loving ourselves, a lot of us have dealt with this self-hatred. And self-hatred doesn't naturally come from ourselves. In fact, it comes from other people that we've given our ear to. Because it's not natural to hate ourselves. In fact, it's natural to do the opposite, which is to love ourselves. When people come to you and they express that they hate themselves and they eventually leads to other more dangerous things that are said, possibly suicidal ways of thinking. It's normally something that clicks off in our brains that allows us to reach out to them and let them know how valued they are, how important they are, because it's not natural to hear somebody say that they hate themselves, but it is natural to hear others say and express that they love themselves. So the hatred that is given to us that builds us up to hate ourselves doesn't come from us naturally. It comes from others around us. And so this is what produces the self-image issues and us not being able to take compliments very well. Maybe even something as small as that comes from people that we've placed ourselves around who constantly tell us that we don't look good, we look ugly, we can't do this, we can't do that. All this negative energy that people throw our way that ultimately reshapes the way we think to where the negative becomes the new normal. And so how we remove ourselves from these spaces and from these people is to simply remove ourselves from those conversations, remove ourselves from those circles, and understand that it's not worth being around such negativity that drags us down and doesn't uplift us in any sort of way. What if we lived in a world, in a society where everyone decided to put their interest or other people's interest before their own? We would have a whole lot less of people struggling to be accepted, to be loved in any kind of capacity. Because when you put others' interests before your own, it allows you to focus on how to love them, trusting that they will learn how to love you in return. And yeah, it can be a risky thing at times, but when we truly learn the real value of love, we understand that in the end, it's selfless and not selfish. Because if I were to keep my mentality of what I wanted and desired and what I really wanted for other people to do, it was just about me, right? And my self-love, as culture may put it at times, where we just put everything we want first and everybody else last. There would be no room to invite anybody into my life, to love them, to care for them, to create any kind of valuable relationship with them, because there's no room for them. But when I am able to put their interests before mine and they put my interests before theirs, there's a mutual agreement to love each other to a full capacity where nothing is standing in the way, but we're able to learn and love each other to a maximum capacity that's incapable of reaching when we decide to put our wants first and foremost before anybody else's. Real self-love isn't about how I take care of myself or isn't about putting my wants before everybody else, but it's rather how I take care of others, how I look to place other people's interests before my own. Am I valuing others as human beings? Am I asking or looking to put others' interests before mine? No, this doesn't mean that we're considering ourselves worthless, but rather there's a balance that's created to where we understand that we have purpose, that we were created with intent, that we aren't naturally hating, but we are naturally loved. But we also understand that there is a balance where we are learning to put others before ourselves. Because if we really want any relationship to thrive, if we really want any relationship, friendship, dating, whatever it could be, to really grow, to move forward, and to really experience true love, we move ourselves out the way and we learn to value other people ahead of what we want and what we desire. Real self-love isn't selfish, it's selfless, because we put other people first. And it isn't about showing how I love myself by how I treat myself, but real self-love is shown through how we treat others. Y'all be easy. Can't wait to see you in our next conversation. And until then, as always, peace.